So each school has a school site coordinator assigned to the school, and they actually meet with every teacher to discuss every student within their classroom based upon the strengths and needs across 4 domains, which are social, emotional, health, family, and academics. And out of that discussion, they decide what services the student may need. So that might be an enrichment service, that might be a counseling service. So it's a very tailored student support plan for that student. And then what happens is that the coordinator will then connect those students with those specific services. All in line with communication with the teacher, but also with communication with the families.
So the whole class review in the middle school setting is very different than elementary school because our students see different teachers per subject. So they see their math teacher, an English teacher, social studies, and science, which are 4 completely separate teachers. So when we come together and meet with them, it's really important to make sure we get the perspective and the input of all 4 of those teachers. A student who's in math class looks very different sometimes than a student who's in social studies because we know all of our students have different strengths and different needs, areas of improvement. I started this year asking teachers after my whole class review process if this was helpful. I wanted their feedback. I wanted to know their input on if it was helpful to them, if so, how. And so I received pretty positive feedback on a lot of the teachers or after we met. And they said things from, it helped them reflect on the child that's in front of them. It helped them not just see them as an academic person, not just a brain in front of them, but rather a student who has some family situations going on, or a student who has difficulty interacting with others and social skills. And then they said that it helps with the way that they're going to connect with them, hopefully in the future.
I think in that data, in those teacher surveys, they do say that it helps me to look at my student in a different way. That they're in front of me all day, but if I look at them individually, I can then help them better. I can differentiate my instruction better, or I can, maybe contact his parent because I haven't been, so worried about his homework completion, but it's now, kind of dwindling. And maybe I need to make that connection just to let them know that, this is happening, but that I also am a caring adult here in the building.
There's such a difference in just the feeling of the school. It seems like there's just a different way that families interact with school staff and their ability to access community resources.
I think it's tough for a lot of school adjustment counselors to coordinate and do the care coordination with service providers from outside, like running those meetings and inviting service providers to come in. Like that case management piece is work that we're both very much used to, and I think that because the school adjustment counselors do a lot of the direct care, I think that doing that care coordination piece has been a significant part of my job.
I started realizing that there are about 200 to 300 students actually 250 to 300 students that participate in that program Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Now these students are in school already 10 hours, and they continue to have that experience till about 5 o'clock at night. And we find that each year those programs have grown. And what we find is kids come back into school the next day well connected into our schools. And we find that the longer we have them, the more we can influence them. And they're safer in many cases while they're at the school as opposed to going in the community is something to do. Addressing student needs, the culture, the climate and culture and community partnerships, along with the overall lens of the district support. Now, knowing that as good as we know it, it becomes a blueprint for how we organize ourselves to effectively carry on education in schools. I wish we had known that up front.